Hello, everyone, and welcome to 10 from the Back for a special English episode this week. My name is Sebastian, and as you can see, I am not joined by Alex, but I have the pleasure of hosting WTC Team Canada's captain, Colin Partridge. Welcome to the show, Colin.
Thank you so much, sir. I greatly appreciate being on here today.
All right, so to get things started, Team Canada uh, did not send a team to WTC last year. So this year there was clearly an intent to send a team, and there was a vote. Um, Danny, I want to say Danny Cameron Stewart, if I'm not mistaken, was elected captain and put a team together, and then life happened and many players had to drop. Danny had to drop himself, and that whole situation ended up with you becoming the captain. So before we get into like all the nitty-gritty details about that situation, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to the old world.
Perfect. Yeah. So again, my name's Colin Partridge. I'm out in BC, so we're a little bit of a distance apart from each other. I'm on Vancouver Island, actually. Um, so what brought me to this? It's kind of funny. I've played this game since 1994. I remember getting my Chaos box set with my buddy, the fourth edition, the box that had Chaos gifts and magic cards and the magic items, and just was absolutely in love with the tactics and the gameplay, and then really jumped into the hobby and played everything from 40K with Dark Angels, and then Warhammer Quest. You remember those days, and Necromunda.
Yeah.
Just played for years and years and years, and then they got rid of Warhammer Fantasy, and I never jumped into AOS, and I really tried the mix and played a lot of 40K and then Horus Heresy. It stayed in the hobby for many years through adulthood and having a family and everything, and even my son now loves a lot of the IP and the video games and everything, jokes with me on that. But then when they brought Old World back, when they actually brought that game back, I was so excited. The rumors and everything, and I just missed the square base. I missed the tactics involved with the movement. I always say that how you deploy and your
Yeah.
movement wins you the game. Like
Yeah,
it is the game.
it's not just a rank and flank game. It's a movement game actually. And like you've touched it, like deployment is so important also. Totally agree with you. And like old world fantasy is really something special that a lot of us older players grew up with. And I think the nostalgia from Warhammer Fantasy really hit hard when they announced that they would bring the game back. So I feel you on that. Yeah.
Completely. And I think I was feeling a need for it because I was playing the Total War games,
Hmm.
and it's actually what started my love of Chaos Dwarves again. And I started playing that and loving the legacy stuff, and the thank you to the Renegades project from Square Base and what they've done there to make that viable and like makes me so happy. And been playing that and loving it since they came out. And I tried going back to Warriors of Chaos a little bit and Tomb Kings and some other armies, and I finally landed just on playing Chaos Dwarves, and for WTC looking at some other things just because legacy lists are not quite the thing. But
Hmm.
um, just loved playing square bases because you feel a different level of tactics. It's not a skirmish game. Movement is not as forgiving, and you just really can showcase what you can do. You can bring a meta strong list, but a good player can face that meta list. And if they know their own army list really well and know the rules really well, do incredibly well against someone that's playing just a meta list and a little bit less savvy with the rules, I would say.
Totally agree. Totally agree. All right. Many of our viewers wonder how does a player land into a WTC team? How did that happen for you, like as a player, prior to becoming the captain? How did you actually learn about the WTC? How did you get in? Because it's not something that's widely known out there.
It's, you know, what's most interesting about that is that the path to that, finding out about it, learning about it, and then in getting the skill set and then becoming part of it, were all very actually hard journeys in a way because we're playing a niche hobby in a way, and an old world doesn't have the notoriety that 40K does. It doesn't have
Nope.
that strength of fan base, that lore base. Like there's so many amazing YouTubers out there that really present that stuff. And so um, I have this weird thing where I want to learn from the best and do the best things. And I run a lot of interesting things. Like I'm chairman of the International Medieval
Yeah.
Combat Federation. And I'll be going to Denmark in less than a month to host a championship with about 575 fighters and about 30 countries attending. And that's real steel,
That's awesome.
live
Yeah.
action combat, right? And I just, even with that, it's hard to find content sometimes online and on YouTube and that. And what I've learned is I want to learn from the best. I want to understand it. I want to understand as much as I can because you have that available now, right? So I
Yeah.
searched YouTube is the short answer. I started searching YouTube, looking at videos, looking at content, trying to understand, okay, what's the differences between fantasy and this, where it's the same because um, after playing 8 editions of fantasy, so many things had changed. And then when they did Old World, they found they grabbed bits and pieces from different
Editions.
editions
Yeah.
of it, and it made it very complicated. So I went, okay, I need to find the people that made this their job. They're experts on this, right? To search this. So I started YouTube, looking into YouTube, looking into that, and I actually found Edward from Close Order. And he does an amazing coaching service, which I've been a student of his, as he would state it, for now over a year. I meet with him at least once to 3 times a month, reviewing army lists, planning, tactics, etc., and even do formal games, playing against him and practicing particular lists, etc. So he's been a huge help in my understanding and clarification of the rules. And you could really feel with Old World, there's these like 3 levels to playing Old World. There's like just basic playing, just having fun,
Yeah. Just playing the game. Yeah.
just playing the game. Then there's playing a little bit more competitive at a local club level, etc., where you're a lot more down to what the rules are, but you're not sticking in it. Like you're
Yeah.
not 100% just locked down. Then there's top level, where it's like how the units are actually placed together, particularly, and the corner testing, and every little bit of like, how can you get every bit of it out of the rule? That's the extreme. And you got to know your opponents and what you're playing, etc.
Mm.
But when you're going to the highest level, you're expecting the highest level understanding. And so I've been working really heavily with Ed with that and having a good understanding. He's a great individual. I'll definitely shout him out and say, anyone wanting to get training and understanding, please look up the Close Order.
Maybe we'll put a link to the video as well to his. I know many people know Ed, but just in case, I'll put up a link into a video. So make sure to send me that link to his coaching
Absolutely.
services.
Yes, he's amazing and has made a huge difference for me. And so that really started my journey too. So I looked it up, tried to understand it, the game, and then I found Ed and I found a lot of other amazing individuals, Squarebase and everyone else. And then you start seeing, holy crap, there's this huge other layer of competitive, and you only see the 40K side and some of the other stuff. And then
Hmm.
then I start seeing this, and I start seeing Dowie After Dark and a lot of that who really showcased what's going on at that tournament level. So then I started looking into WTC. What is this? What is Team Warhammer really like now with fantasy, or sorry, Old World, and what is transition with that and learning with it? And then I tried to understand a lot more. Then I started asking questions to Ed. I'm like, hey, should I look into doing this? So do I try and find this out? And he's like, sure. And the crazy thing is he had some contacts as well. But at the same time, I'm in my 40s, so Discord's still a funny thing to me. And then I started
Yeah.
looking into Discord and saw, oh, there was a team vote. There was a captain's vote. There was some stuff in about the community voting on who the captain was. And I saw 3 great candidates of individuals that had some great ambitions and what they wanted to achieve. I'm like, this is something I want to be part of. This is what I want to reach out to. Talk to Edward about it, and he's like, yeah, this sounds like a great thing. You're late in the process, but reach out, see what there is. So I found the team contact info on Facebook. I found information about the captain. So I sent direct messages. So I'm like, hey, I'm very interested in playing. I've been part of the hobby for over 20 years. Love the game, love all competitive levels. I played multiple different games within the GW brand.
Ecosystem. Yeah.
and their ecosystem, and just love the idea of playing at a competitive level even more with my next step in my journey, just like how I represented Canada in longsword, and my journey there for in IMCF, and like just learning from the best and the individuals and just try to compete. And I just love doing that. And I reached out, and after a little bit of time, I got a response back. Danny wrote me back. Great individual. He asked about my experience, background, was super excited to have me on the team. And he was right away stated to me something simple because I asked, I play Chaos Dwarfs normally. I know a lot of other armies, though. What do you
Yeah.
want me to play, right? And Danny was amazing. He said, play what you're comfortable with. Play to have fun, competitive fun, but play to have fun. Enjoy the game, and you tell me, here's what we have currently, and let's plan that out. And so great communication. He was very open, and it was great to get a chance to start to get to know everyone,
Hmm.
etc. And so I got to be part of the team, and I was super honestly stoked about that. Like in levels of nerdism, representing Canada, especially talking about this on Canada Day, right? But
Yeah.
representing Canada, being able to go forward, play a game I love, go back to Spain. I competed there for IMCF a few years ago now, almost 4 years ago now, and so super excited, and everything looked amazing. And then, as you said, life happens, things
Yeah.
change, right?
Yeah, so what happened is basically Danny couldn't go anymore, and then none of the previous candidate for the captaincy showed interested in going. And you said like, I don't want, because I know about the process, obviously. So you raised your hand and said, if no one is willing to do it, I'll gladly do it. I'm not trying to, but I'm willing to do the job. And I know that since becoming, sorry, captain, you've had a lot on your plate. Okay, I know you've had to try to find other players and sort a lot of things out because with all that happened, like Team Canada was not fully formed, and there's a lot of uh, little details that needs to be ironed out before you can actually go to Spain. What has been the most challenging part for you? Because I know you've had a lot to do.
Yeah, that's there's a lot of things to unpack there too, right? So, um, well, first off, the three original candidates, one actually was on the team and ended up being one
Mm.
of the people that couldn't go. So that's two out of the three, and the third one took up a great role in being a judge at
Judge, yeah.
WTC. So it really meant those individuals were just out of the mix. And so when the question came to me, I had a belief like I really want Canada to have a team this year. Like
Hmm.
I'm one of those people that believe that struggle, things put in front of you, is to show your determination, to show if you're going to earn it, to make the nothing worth having doesn't come without some sort of fight would be a great quote from Bare Naked Ladies, Canadian band, right? So
Yeah.
um, I've always believed that, like you got to earn it, you got to fight for it, right? And that's why IMCF like had to fight for that for years to now have one of the best, being chairman of that, to have the best opportunity for the World Championship ever this year. And then even in my career, I'm vice president of revenue for a dietary supplement company. That's been a struggle and a battle for many years, and we've done really good. And I've seen that. I know that. So in that moment, I saw here's another chance. There's another moment. Like I can stand up and push this forward and make this happen, or I can sit down and just let it stop, let it
Yeah.
not happen, right? Um, and I love the game. I love the idea of going there. I'm not there for notoriety for myself. I got enough on my plate, as I keep jokingly saying, right? I had a good friend of mine say, it's good that you're doing something and you're not running it. You're not doing anything on it for once. And, and literally 2 days later,
Famous last words.
completely. And then 2 days later, this all came up, and unfortunately, it's like, okay, well, unfortunate for Danny and everything, because really great
Yeah.
gentleman who's trying to put a lot of things together. And uh, but I didn't want that to be the story. I didn't want that to be Canada's story, like that it's done, right? So I put my hand up, said, let's do this, try and figure it out. Lots of infrastructure. So what's the most difficult thing was your question, right? So
Yeah.
if you think about it, when you're a captain of a team, you're facing three things more than ever. Most people just think about the event. right?
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
event, which some great members of the community and even my coach we're going over how you actually do matchups and how you do matrices and pairings and things like that. And then obviously I've been training and playing Warhammer a long time, and so there's my performance at the actual event. That's only one part, my team's performance, right? And the planning of that and
Hmm.
everything. The other part, two parts, will be the actual pre-planning before that. What do you do to plan
Which is a
for?
lot, which is a lot longer than the event itself. Let's be honest, you're going to have a lot of work before the event. Like the mountain of work compared to the actual event is insane. Yeah.
Is crazy. Like understanding the matchups, understanding your opponent teams, understanding the meta, and we're going into a meta change right now, right? So as you had some great shows about the potential FAQ change and everything that's happening. So shout out again to anyone that has not watched his videos on that. They should.
Yeah.
So, but there's that whole aspect of the planning of your tactics and your strategies and your team strategies for the event. Well, that's a huge chunk. And then there's your performance. Now, what's the third? My God, the logistics. Like, how do you get there? The team organization, jerseys, logos, there's dice, there's great trading dice stuff that happens between the teams when you play them, which I think is an amazing culture piece. There's the flight costs, there's fundraising, there is hotel stays, and like, I'm an extreme planner. I think if anyone knows me
Yeah.
really well, it's I literally document everything. I look into everything. I'm highly analytical. So like that fell really strong into my strong suit, right? But you asked the
Definitely.
question,
Yeah.
what's the hardest part? And I think jumping in late, jumping in late to all this. Like you saw, I had an amazing artist, Kelsey Hornby. She created the initial concepts for the Team Canada logo, and the whole reason behind that was like, hey, I didn't want to do the standard Team Canada thing. I wanted to do
Hmm.
something a little different, and I noticed
So no, no beaver, no moose.
yeah, no beaver, no moose, and like a lot of Canada teams have like the maple leaf with like some sort of
Yeah.
basic symbol in the center. And I mean like hockey, lacrosse, like everything does it, right? And I saw in Europe they have that old history in the background, but they often choose animals or creatures. And I'm like, what's something North American? What's something that's just us in North America? And the Wendigo was a great
Yeah.
concept and good idea. And so she did some great concepts, and I believe firmly in going to people, not AI, to get
Hmm.
concepts and everything. So, of course, we use AI for other versions, etc. But I wanted a human to create it. I wanted a human to create that and have that vibe, which I think we ended up with a very good result, and I'm super excited about it.
Love it. Yeah. Totally.
And then, so then there's jerseys and all this. So like the logistics, being so late in the game and planning out logistically our hotel stay, making sure we know when we're going to be there, our jersey setup, our logo setup, all that was very difficult. But I think the other part is rebuilding the team. Rebuilding the team when a chunk of them all said, you know what, life has happened, things have occurred, we noticed some things were going on. I just don't think I can make it now. Rebuilding that, and even now, the system allows us to have mercenaries, right? So
Yes.
you can have a few non-Canadians on the team, and so even though that I'm very happy about that, I'm still looking and talking to individuals, and if anyone's interested, like I would rather have as many Canadians as possible, though I firmly am excited to have the mercenaries as part of the team. I'm still recruiting and looking to try and fill up that whole roster of Canadians, just because it's a great experience, right? So the hardest part in the end is coming late to the game, trying to do it right, try to do things right, and make sure that I honor the chance I was given to be captain.
All right. So yeah, about the players, of course, like you said, you're really happy about having mercenaries, but like in a development sense, like to bring that experience back to Canada, so that next year the process becomes easier because players have been there, they can talk about their experience, they can share, they can get people into. I totally get, and I think it's very admirable that you're putting so much work into looking into bringing more players from Canada to make sure that we have as many Canadian going as possible. Um, so. given the situation, you coming in, sorry, so late to the party, all the good players that are not available to go after many things happen. What is Team Canada's goal this year? What would be a successful WTC for Team Canada in your opinion?
Great question. Yeah, that's a very good question. I think I should jump to two separate goals, right? There's the team goal, and then there's my goal as captain, right?
Hmm.
So, if I was going to talk about my goal as captain now, right? My goal is just like it was for the IMCF. I want to create an organization that has longevity, that exists outside of me. So, if I'm captain next year, if the voting comes out and I choose to go forward or not, that it doesn't matter. That I've created the framework for Team Canada WTC Old World to exist. Like I've spoken with you, I'll make a
Yeah.
write up when I'm done this, right? I'm going to make a write up of all the things I've done, all the things you need to do, consider the vendors that I use, the
Hmm.
costing, make a very clear succession plan so that
Yeah,
this
just having
organization also
something that you
keeps.
can hand out to the next captain if it ends up being someone else. Here's my experience. You're free to use it or not, learn from my mistakes, but here's what I learned and my piece of advice, if you will.
Completely. Because I'm one of my strong points is organization and running and delegation and stuff and running organizations. It's literally what I do. And so I'll be doing a disservice to the opportunity I have if I don't put effort into making that sustainable, using the learnings I have and make because not everyone that's going to jump into a captain role will have that background, right? Will have an
Definitely,
understanding.
definitely.
And so I want to make sure that whoever is coming into this role has that, right? Has the opportunity and the best chance. I'm not in this for notoriety, even though it's amazing to be on your show and everything. I'm doing it for the love of doing it, for the love of this game, right? And the community that I want to build. So that's the idealism I have is I want to build a community around this competitive level of old world, something that is just doesn't we don't feel as connected in Canada, I think. Like if it
Hmm.
wasn't for this opportunity, I wouldn't have met you, for instance, right? We're just not that connected.
Yeah,
So
we're kind of far away too.
yeah, travel is a real thing. In my sport, it's like you don't fight people in your own country too easily. It's very expensive for flights and everything.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of us have grabbed onto Warhol for a digital tabletop experience, but it's
Hmm.
nothing like playing in
Yeah, it's
person.
not the
So
same.
it's not the same. It just feels different, right? And so that was my goal for captain, but the goal for the team, right? Well, the simple answer is everyone wants to win some rounds and some matches, and we're
Hmm.
we're taking a green team. There's some people with quite a few years of experience, like myself and Nick. There's some people with a lot less experience in old world. They have a shorter timeline. They're from 40K team play, etc. And so, but we have a little bit of a mixture of that, plus potentially if any other ones join, plus the Mercs, right? So winning a few rounds and having a great performance, yes, that's part of the goal. But my expectation is that that performance isn't just winning. Performance means actually playing the game well, being great ambassadors for Canada and the actual event and sport and being there and present. I want people to, when they play the game, say, wow, that was a great game, regardless if they won or lost. Our
Hmm.
opponents to say, wow, that's a great game. And I effing love playing against those Canadians. They're entertaining, they're fun, they're great people to interact with. Like that's a win, right? Because we're there playing with miniatures and tabletop things.
Yeah,
We're like
very seriously playing something that's not serious.
completely. So there's this weird blend of like take the game seriously, right? Take the game,
Hmm.
the rules, the tactics and the objectives, but don't take yourselves seriously. Enjoy the thing. Enjoy meeting someone from multiple different countries and interacting with them and trading stories. Like there's a
Making friends, yeah, because that's one thing you'll see about team events is that your opponents on the table, but afterwards everybody or almost everybody becomes friends, and there's that sharing, and that's the exchange of the dice. Some people will even exchange jerseys. Sometimes you'll see, I don't know if it happens at WTC, but you make a lot of friends along the way.
I completely agree. And I talk about it too much almost in this, but like in IMCF with the combat thing, a lot of people shake hands or hug or anything after their matches or after the thing and they're fighting each other with real
Hmm.
swords and axes and stuff, right? And there's real injuries there. But it's the love of the sport and the competition is why you're there. It's not an enemy. It's a
Hmm.
friend that you're just playing this event with, right? So in there they exchange tabards, and we actually call it a cultural
Yeah.
exchange at the end where people trade their alcohol from different countries, which some countries it's like you won the lottery. It's like, wow, I wish I got something like this. And then other times not so much, I think. So, but yeah, the goal for me is for people to walk away and say, I'm so happy Canada came. They were great individuals. That was fun. We made the event fun being part of it. We made it competitive, but we made it fun. And us as a team gain experience. Us as a country gain experience of being at WTC. Now you have individuals, hopefully up to 8, that have become veterans, that have gone to another country, traveled, and done Warhammer at an actual high competitive level and can bring that back to the country and our own communities. That's why it's great having people across Canada
Mhm.
and raise that up. So next year, the pool of people that have that capability to be part of the team or to teach and be veterans or to help organize is much larger and much easier for the country. That's my objective. That's my goal.
I agree. It would be a very successful WTC if you end up doing all that. Um, since we're like roughly 2 months and a half before the event, like actually almost to the date today, there's not much time for the team to prepare. How are you guys planning on doing the most before the event? What's the work you're gonna putting into this without going into all the details that you can't, obviously?
I think when it comes to stuff like this, like a lot of things in career and everything, what you put into it is what you'll get out of it, right?
Hmm.
Procrastination and waiting and stuff, well, you won't get anything. You'll get the best result you can with the littlest amount of prep, right? And so my thought is we have to catch up. We literally need to catch up as a team. And so as I'm ironing out the final roster of people that's going to be on there, the expectation is that we're meeting every other week in regards to meta, list building, team composition, planning, because we have a little bit of time before the final submissions of the rosters and the army lists, right? And there's going to be a meta change any day now. I'm gonna keep saying that, right? Uh, any day, any
Maybe,
week.
maybe, maybe by the time the video comes out, it'll be out. Who knows?
Hopefully, future me, Colin, is excited and happy about the FAQ when it comes out. We'll see. We'll see on the video. But we as a team need to come together and understand that. And me as captain needs to understand what's the plan, what's the list they use, what do they feel comfortable facing, right? And putting those all together and ironing that out. That's part one. And I'm going to be asking my team to meet on that at least once a week, once every other week. But on the alternate week, we need to be meeting and playing. If it's on Warhol and they're watching, or individual games we skirmish against each other, do a scrimmage, doesn't matter. Every other week, though, the week that we're not meeting to discuss tactics and strategy, we're playing a game, coaching each other, reviewing, seeing what it is, trying to make sure there's finite rules understanding. When we're playing, take in the fact the new config or whatever else is being utilized by the tournament, making sure we iron out and understand that perfectly and be prepared. And we need to do, we're a short time frame. You have no choice. We're
Mhm.
talking Warhammer, playing Warhammer every week then, basically, right? And so even myself, going to make sure I get practice games in, especially with the army that I am taking, which is not Chaos Dwarves. Not going to say what I am taking, no, fully, but just to make sure I know it hands down, like everything and the interactions and getting my good friends that are skillful to play medalists against me. Go ahead. Sorry.
And it's something you've said before. You've talked about playing a player playing a medalist, but not playing it well. I think the most important at the end for you guys is no matter what the list that you bring, make sure you know them inside out, because that will help you a lot more than just playing a list first like five times, because that's the middle list that everyone should be taking. But yeah, you've got some time to do that, but not a whole lot. So it'll be interesting to follow that journey, see where you guys end up in practice, and I'll be helping obviously in August as much as I can. Um, so just to follow up on this, there's not a lot of time, and going to WTC is very expensive. We all know that traveling from North America, plane tickets are really expensive. Do you have any fundraising planned? Is there anything the Canadian Tao community can do to support Team Canada?
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for that. The cost, we're looking at a minimum of 3,000 Canadian to go there,
Hmm.
right? You have flights to Spain, you have accommodations. The venue is not just right beside the airport. There's about
Hmm.
a 90-minute, 2-hour travel time that either needs to be train or car. And even though it's a war game, you're packing everything with you, so it feels almost like a sports team in the stuff that you're bringing. So there's costs involved with that, and for the transportation and everything, and then the jerseys and the dice and all this is pretty expensive costing. So right now we're all self-funded right now. By the time this comes up, there will be a GoFundMe page for everyone to go to. I'll be able to give you the link. You can put it here. Go fund us, fund me specifically to help with the costs of the flights and travel for the team, because I think that's the biggest thing in particular. We're looking at, depending on the dice, we might be trying to do individual selling of dice packs, etc. That amazing Wendigo symbol is what we're putting on the
Yeah,
dice.
and
And
I've seen the concept for the dice, and I will definitely buy one a set if you end up putting them up for fundraising, and I'll make sure to share it. If you guys want, I think dice are so useful. We always use some, and having some special Team Canada dice would be really cool. So make sure that you keep following our videos, because as soon as you guys release those dice or make them available for order, I'll be sure to share the information. They're awesome.
thank you. And we're also going to do, we're looking for sponsorships. And it's an interesting question of if it's local level sponsors
Hmm.
or much wider than regional or even provincial sides, like countrywide sponsorships. I'm very open to that and having those conversations. Our jerseys are going to be amazing. You've seen the concepts, there's a
Yeah,
few other ones. So um, there's great advice I've seen. It's like, hey, you want to wear a hockey jersey, you're Canadian. And I said maybe a lacrosse jersey, but I'm being realistic. We are going to Spain, which is a very warm country,
yeah,
and playing in a very large area with a lot of other hundreds of other people, and we're going to be wearing these shirts for a few days. So I'm like, maybe something along like a soccer or football jersey type thing, right?
yeah.
Something that breathes a little bit better.
Wise decision.
So, plus, I really love the idea of being Canadian and having a hockey jersey, but the first thing that came to my mind was the long dangling sleeves catching on something, destroying a
Like,
dragon or
yeah.
something.
Round one of your tournament experience, you roll a dice and then you go pick up something and you just smash someone else's miniature from like a European country, and it's like, oh my God.
I don't want to live the stereotypical Canadian, I'm sorry, apologizing over and over for wrecking people's models. So I'm like, okay, short sleeves. We'll go with probably
Yeah,
soccer
good
jerseys.
good
And
move. Good move.
And since Canada's doing the best it's ever done in FIFA, I think it's maybe a well-deserved thing. So mimicking a little bit, there's some hints there and some colorations and some design work of mimicking a little bit how Canada looked for that. But yeah, sponsorships would be amazing to gain a little bit. Again, there's the cost for the transportation, there's a cost for our stay there. There's even a large but well-deserved fee for entry. And so
Mhm.
all these things, that's all on us. That's all to do. And we signed up for that when we joined the team. But donations, sponsorship, all that would be greatly appreciated. And I'll give you all the links so you can put that when this drops.
All right. Um, Before we end today's show, are you willing to come back after your experience at WTC and share that experience with us?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I think individuals like yourself that are trying to grow the Canadian community and the content and the understanding, I'm super happy to come back and kind of give my perspective on what it's like to travel so far abroad to play a game of Warhammer.
Hmm.
The what it was like, the ins and outs. Like I spoke with Shane Hall and others. I'm like, flying that far of a distance, any recommendations? Because I've not been successful when I've done that with my models. I've had to bring a lot of glue. So like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what are other people's tips and tricks and ways they do it, right? And so there's that whole experience of getting there, going to the event, and I know we're going to make friends. I know we're going to have a great an event and be able to to talk to the rest of Canada and explain, hey, here's the highlights of going. Here are the things you need to think about though. And like competitive Warhammer, what did I not think of? What were the things that I would love to teach that I misunderstood or didn't understand? Would love the community to know, right? Like, and I'm already seeing people play Warhammer in different countries very differently, or their concepts and their
Oh yeah.
understanding, right?
Oh yeah. You'll the good thing is, and that's a piece of advice that I can give to you, but to any listener out there, in case of any disagreement, just call over a judge and make sure that when the judges leave, the decision is clear and you just go on and have some fun. So there are no what ifs after your games, right? So for any game, whether it's a club game, a tournament game, or a WTC game, that's still valid. And I think if you do that, your experience is going to be great, no matter the rules decision, as long as it's clear for everybody, it ends up being fun.
Completely agree. It's like a bad set of dice rolls, a bad beat on a decision or something, or just bad luck. If you let that dictate the entire match, it will become the whole match. Instead,
Hmm.
move forward. Like you
Yeah,
always have an
totally.
opportunity. I tragically roll worse than I should almost all the time. And I put that into my thinking with everything that I do. What's average? Okay. Let's go
Yeah.
way below
Four.
average. Yeah.
Four is average.
And like,
On three
what's
dice, right?
gone through that. So like when I think like that, I'm never surprised. And then if something goes really well, I'm like, oh wow, that's great luck, right? So what's that favorite thing to um from The Simpsons? It's like pulling a homer to greatly succeed despite something, despite complete failure or whatever.
Despite the odds, yeah.
Yeah, so that's my thinking, like is like just play, enjoy it, move past bad rolls, go past maybe a rule judging that was not to your favor that you thought could have been, and just play the match. You never know what could happen because the moment you stop or you give up or you give in to the anger, you've just lost the match. So
And especially in a team's event where like losing might be part of the strategy because you know you're going into a match knowing that 9 times out of 10 you're gonna lose that game if both players play really well and the dice are just average. But how do you lose without giving a big amount of points? How do you lose as little as possible, right? And that is such an important part of a team event, sorry, protecting the points that your teammates are working so hard to get in a favorable matchup while you're playing a terrible one. So sometimes like even like keeping 3 to 4 points will be a huge victory for your team if you can manage that. So that mindset is really important. Yeah.
Completely. The dynamic of those 8 individual matchups within a round,
And
and
then,
how do you handle a bad matchup? How much can you claw back for the victory points out of that? Completely. And like I think we're gonna have some great discussions when I come back, especially for people that have not really seen. We can really kind of talk about that dynamic better and what
mhm.
it looks like, so people can understand that team atmosphere. I'm sure people that play team 40K or understand the matchup system, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't, and they're probably listening being like, what does he mean by that? So um, but we'll talk about that when we come back, because that's going to be quite a lot of the fun and the strategy to it, being like, hey, looking at this teammate, I got a bad matchup for you, but if you can get me 5 points, if you get me
Mhm.
five, you can get me 7 points even on that. And like
Yeah, that
you
that's the
just handle it.
that's a really cool part about like team tournaments, just challenging players. Like we know we don't expect you to win that matchup, but if you can give us something, we can make something out of the round. So it 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 doesn't put pressure, but it gives a purpose to someone who's being like thrown under the bus, right? Which happens
Yeah.
which happens in team tournaments. Like it's a valid strategy. Like we can't handle that list. Go in there, do your best, try not to lose as much as you can.
Completely, because maybe that team captain said that's a 20-0 for us.
Hmm.
We'll count that as a 20-0. And when that player doesn't give him that 20-0, and that was his planning, and that's everything, that makes a
Yeah,
difference in that round.
totally. Um, before we close the show, do you have any last words for our listeners?
Um, First off, thank you for listening to me and getting a chance to kind of get to know me. A huge thank you to the community and the individuals that have chosen me and supporting me. There's a lot of you that just jumped on and messaged me. Some other amazing YouTuber personalities reached out to me, connected with me on Facebook and everything, and it just truly shows a great community that we really are part of in Canada, that is just starting to slowly get tighter and tighter, and so I'm very happy about that, and about this opportunity. And again, anyone interested in sponsorships or even interested in Team Canada itself and understanding more, I have a Facebook page which will directly email me and let me know. We'll put that in here as well. That way you can reach out to me and find out more about us and watch our journey on Facebook as well. I'll try and take lots of pictures and everything, and get some good content for people to see and get a good idea what the experience is like.
All right. Thank you so much, Colin, for coming on to the show. It was very cool to have you here to let people know about uh, Team Canada's WTC team this year. So, for everybody that took the time to listen to this episode, thank you. This was my first episode in English. There will be more to come. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you soon in the old world.